What's going on YouTube? This is your boy Traveling Tony. I'm here in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam to be specific. I was hanging out with my boy after the gym and a really interesting question came up. I'm gonna answer it as I get into the video. Sorry it's so loud, I'm outside. I'll just speak over the rest of it. So after we finished the gym, as we were driving, just chopping it up as friends do, normal questions and stuff, especially, when you're having a cultural exchange. I'm from America, he's from Tanzania. He's traveled the world, I've traveled the world too. He is a Tanzanian professional, so he's lived in England and other places. As you would find in these African countries when dealing with locals who have careers and higher level jobs and businesses, they do a lot of traveling. They live in other places, so they have an understanding of the world. So he wanted to know, do Black Americans ever do a lineage check to research their history, where they came from, their tribes, all of that stuff, all the stuff that you would think people would want to know? Well, I told him, unfortunately, it is not common for us in the Americas to really look up our lineage and be interested in understanding where we come from, learning about our past, all those amazing things. Most people don't care. We're conditioned to not care about our African lineage. We're conditioned to see it as a negative lineage. Also, I agree with some people why they wouldn't want to know, because some people feel that we were sold by other Africans into slavery. We were sold to the Portuguese, the Spaniards, and the Anglo-Saxons. So I could understand why some people kind of oppose Africa a little bit. They have a gripe against Africa. I can understand that, but I don't feel the same way. That happened a long time ago. That has nothing to do with these current people. Also, it has nothing to do with East Africa. They didn't catch us and they weren't selling us. They were in the Arabic slave trade, not the transatlantic slave trade. They had nothing to do with it. They were dealing with the Arabs. Going into unity as well, he wanted to know how unified Black Americans are within the country with each other. Do we have a very unified culture where we have each other's back and we look out for each other? I told him that hasn't been around since like the 50s or 60s. Ever since segregation ended, all that stuff went out the window. All that stuff went out the window after segregation ended and they implemented drugs into impoverished minority neighborhoods. The CIA did that. If anyone knows that, they actually admitted to doing that. So once they implemented heroin and crack and all that other stuff, it just destroyed the unity we had. So it's not the same in the West. Even in, places like Colombia, Brazil, they're not unified. Black people aren't unified in those places as well. He also wanted clarity on what he has noticed or is aware of, that there is like a divide between African Americans, Black people of African descent that were in the Atlantic slave trade, and Africans. He's noticed that there is a little bit of combat between the different groups of Blacks that were born outside of Africa. And I was telling them that's by social design. The West did that on purpose. They wanted us to be divided. They don't want Black people to be united. That is why they always say Africa is a disgusting place. It's just propaganda. Propaganda is what separates us. That's all. Just mind control ideas that they implanted to us in the West and stripping us away from all our traditions and understanding of our land is why there is a disconnect. It's not anyone's fault besides the people that, conditioned us to think these ways. I don't blame Africa at all. Africa was exploited. They're still getting exploited for their resources. I'm actually happy that Africa is fighting back and not letting Anglo-Saxons and Portuguese just run them through the mud for their precious resources. I would actually like to see what Africa does with their resources as we move towards the future. I would like to see what Africa becomes when they actually have control of their resources. So this is going to be an interesting future. Things are changing. Things are definitely changing. People here feel it as well. It is a noticeable change. Everyone's seeing the tide shift from the West to now being more Eastern. So I'm very interested in seeing how things develop, how cultures may change, how Eastern culture may start to get pushed in the West. You know, a lot of people don't believe that's possible, but if the East takes control, then they're going to start pushing their culture, their family dynamics, their gender roles. And I think that will actually be better for the world to have a society where there are clear gender roles, clear lines. You know, people still are going to be people. People are still going to do their things, the rainbow people and all that stuff, but it'll be behind closed doors. That's how it is in most of these societies. Those people exist everywhere. Different type of people exist everywhere. It's just they keep it behind closed doors. It's not in the public eye. I think that is a very respectful way to go about it. And like I said, I'm just very interested to see how this goes. In my future videos, we'll talk about how we could unify, how we all could work together, we could learn from each other, how we could make tomorrow better for all people of African descent. Also promoting being proud of having African heritage instead of frowning on it. You know, they always was telling us being dark isn't a good thing, but that comes from Anglo-Saxons. That does not come from actually being black. I found the oldest candy known to man. Hubba bubba. It was just sitting here, randomly just sitting here. This nasty, like, what is it, like a 30-second gum, 15-second gum chew? It's disgusting. But yeah, I found this here and I couldn't believe it. It's a throwback. They have a whole bunch of them. It's only 80 cents for this whole pack. The whole pack of gum is 80 cents. I think this is just the random aisle. Nobody buys this. Nobody has to buy this. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that back. It's not even good. Hey, thanks for watching my video. This is the ending credits. I appreciate you guys keeping my channel afloat. Interested in life in Tanzania as a nomad. Thank you very much.